I'm Johnny Taylor. I'm the exec chef and owner of Tailored Restaurants, which is Shed Bistro on the Ormeau Road and Saga Kitchen and Cellar on the Malone Road. I started in Shed as head chef 7 years ago, I believe it is now. I was working here when it was the old Shed, so we were just on the other side of the restaurant, and the opportunity came up for me to be able to buy the restaurant. I've been a chef since I was 14. I started off in the stables in Antrim, doing KP and desserts, and pretty much worked in the kitchen ever since. When I was 21, I moved to Scotland. I lived in Glasgow for 4.5 years. I then moved to Manchester for a year, and then to Edinburgh for 4.5 years. Didn't do very well because I could cook, but I didn't know how to manage a kitchen at all. So I ended up working for some of the biggest companies in the UK, including Jamie Oliver's and Living Ventures, and that's where I learned how to manage a business. So the produce that we use at Shed is all locally sourced. We're very much passionate about that as a business, so both for here and for Saga, we try to use as much locally sourced produce as possible. So whether it's the venison that comes from the Spirin Mountains, the fish, which is mostly Portavogie, if we can get it from here, we get it from here for both restaurants at all times. At Shed, we're currently serving a brunch menu, a cheaper menu, some people call it a table d'hôte, some call it express. It's more burgers, fish and chips and things like that. And then we're doing our a la carte menu, which is things that are a little bit nicer, there's a little bit more presentation involved, a little bit more expensive in terms of like your scallops and things like that. Now that we've talked a little bit about the produce that we use, I'm going to show you some of the produce that we're doing, and I'm going to make a dish. So we're going to make the venison pie mix, which will then go into our venison dish. So we have venison legs, plenty of salt, and we're going to brown it off. So our venison legs are coming from the Spirin Mountains, which is not that far away from us really. We use both the leg and the loin. So what we're doing now is we're preparing the pie. So we're going to sear off the meat, get a nice colour on it, sweat off our mirepoix, add in red wine, reduce the red wine, add tomato puree, cook the tomato puree out, put the venison into the mirepoix, top it up with water, and we're going to braise it in the oven for 4 to 6 hours until it's nice and tender. And then we're going to shred that down and then make that into our pie mix. So now that the legs have been browned off and the mirepoix has been sweated off, we're going to add our red wine. And we're going to reduce that by half. So the red wine's been reduced, the tomato puree's been cooked out. I'm now going to add in the venison legs. I'm going to add my thyme, and I'm going to top it up with water. And that's us now for 4 to 6 hours. This is our finished pie mix. So it's been braised for the 4 to 6 hours. We've then taken the roasting juices out, reduced that down into a rich gravy, added that back through the shredded meat, and added a finely diced mirepoix of vegetables, which is your carrot, onion, celery, and then some fresh chopped parsley. So then we have puff pastry into a buttered Dario mold. And then we're going to take the meat, form it into a nice little ball, pop that down in, top it with its lid, and then we just brush it with egg wash. So once it's been brushed with the egg yolk, we leave it to dry, and then it's ready to go in the oven. It takes about 15 minutes to cook so that the pastry's nice and crispy.
Hey, I'm Christina, one of the owners of Tailored Restaurants, which house Saga and Shed Bistro on the Ormeau Road. Also responsible for a lot of things wine related and drinks related, together with a few other people in the team. So today we'll talk about wine to drink with our venison dish. Venison, of course, is red meat, it's game, and it can be quite strong in flavor. The one we use is really premium and really light and delicate. So really for a delicate meat, you're looking for delicate wine, and a very common misconception is that, for big red meat, you need big wine, which is not always correct. So today with our venison, we'll drink some Fleury, which is wine from France. This is wine from Beaujolais. It's 100% gamay, so nice and light. We get lots of nice kind of foresty, savory flavors and lots of nice fruit to complement the dish. The dish is very savory. It needs a little bit of uplift, so that's definitely what this wine offers. It's really nice and light in color. You'll find a lot of nice berries, blackberries, brambles, nice strawberries, raspberries, and a nice bit of acidity to go with it as well. It's not just jammy, it's not just sweet, it's nice and light, not too much tannin, so fairly easy drinking. So if you open one of these and you need to drink more without your venison, that's very achievable also.
What makes Shed very unique compared to the other restaurants in Belfast is that the way I think about food is very different. If you're coming to Shed for salt and chilli squid, I don't want you to get the same dish a couple of doors down. We make our own salt and chilli mix. We make the slaw on our way, so that if you're getting my salt and chilli squid in Belfast, it's someone who's worked here who stole my recipe. It's not the other way around. It's not like I worked at Shoe and with 100 other chefs who then left in and using their food. It's very much developed by me. I like my food not to be a box standard of anything. So even our pepper sauce is not a traditional pepper sauce. It contains all the ingredients of a traditional pepper sauce, but it's done differently. And there is a few other things in there that makes it unique. So my personal taste, I think it's the best pepper sauce you'll ever taste, but it's been developed over 10 years. For our scallop dish, we've got a quail's egg, which has been wrapped in boudin noir, which is a French black pudding. The boudin noir works best with this because it's done with a quail's egg, and then it's panade. So we're going to fry this in the fryer. We're going to sear the scallops, heat up the puree, and then we'll plate it up. This is our Portaverde King scallops with a quail's egg, Scotch egg, and smoked celeriac puree. We've just recently started doing brunch, but it's been very, very popular. I'm going to put up one of the most popular dishes on the menu, which is our posh bap, but also then our signature Shed breakfast. Again, with everything that we do here at Shed, it's about the quality of the produce. Our sausages are pan fried, they're not deep fried. We're using really good quality, they're called honeybee sausages. We're using dry cured streaky bacon, smoked because it's one of my favourites. We're using a smoke and butcher black pudding and slow roasted tomato and mushroom. And then our breads, which are baked in the oven so that they're not greasy. When we write a menu, me and the senior chef sit down together because I'm very passionate about making sure that they're passionate about the food. I had a chef work for me a long time ago and he wanted to put a dessert on the menu. He did not make it less than 12 times before we put it on, even as a special. Seeing that passion in him developing his own food and having an insight into what it is to be a chef writing a menu. They don't get to do it every single time, and a lot of the times it will end up where I will say, try this, try this, try this. And that's why it's great to do things as specials, because then we get to tweak if we need to. I'm very passionate about training chefs, and every year we try to bring in an apprentice. And if they're standing making the same thing every week, and every month and every year, they don't learn. And the only way for them to learn is to constantly be changing and evolving and developing. So they'll learn something. By the time they get used to being able to make it, we change the menu. It's January now, but I'm already working on the spring menu. And next weekend will be the first trial of a new dish, which is something that's completely new, which we're quite excited about. But there's an awful lot goes into the menu development. So we'll write the menu a couple of months ahead of time. We will then try to source the produce, and then we'll run it as a special, so that way we can cost it correctly, but then also that we get customer feedback. So if we serve it then as a special, we're wanting to know, did you enjoy it? That gives us a chance to amend the recipe if we need to, before it goes on the menu as a proper dish rather than just a special.